Hi everyone, how are you going? I thought it's getting on in the week and I better pop in and just give you an update on where I am with the mystery knit along. Hasn't been a great week. I think I said earlier that I haven't been real well this year and the last few days have been a bit of a write-off. I have got what they're calling at the moment post-viral fatigue syndrome. I've had that virus twice this year, once in April about Easter time and then once the beginning of July. And the way things are at the moment, I'm currently working maybe half a day to sometimes 3 times a week. And I worked half a day yesterday and then have basically spent the next 24 hours horizontal, so not great. But anyway, good days and bad days. I have been knitting on the mystery knit along and I've been making great progress, surprisingly. I think because I've really enjoyed Clue 2. I am going to talk about it, so if you don't want to hear anything, I'll chat to you next time. But I will be talking about my thoughts about various parts of Clue 2, and I will also show you where I'm at. What I'm wearing today, don't know how well you can see that, is the Cedar Pullover by Johi Locatelli, and the yarn I used is a Miss Click Clack yarn. She's an Australian dyer. It's her Darling Road DK Merino, and the colourway is I Am the Walrus. Yeah, Clue 2. So we started with the short row section, and I really liked Stephen's way of doing those short rows, so that was really good. So that first part, which I think was that called Clue 2 section 2, that went quite quickly. The next part, which was section 3, was the purling section. I was a bit concerned because I know that my knitting purl, my gauge is a lot looser than knitting knit stitches, and quite often when I'm doing something that's in the round, if it's not a yoke, if it's something where the bottom part of the garment is knit in the round and then the top is knit, the back and the front are knit flat, I'll have to change. What I usually do is I use an interchangeable needle set, and when I'm knitting the flat section I would change one needle down one size so that I'm purling with that smaller needle but knitting with the whatever I'm using for the in the round knitting. And I thought that might be an issue with this, so I was quite conscious that my gauge could be a bit looser. I think it might be slightly, but when I sort of held the two sides up, I kept checking the width of my wedges as I was knitting it, and they looked to be pretty close. So I think any discrepancy is either not going to be noticeable or it will block out. So I got through those two sections pretty quickly. The next section was the cable section. Cabling, I don't mind cabling, but it's never my go-to technique. My cables, which could be because I don't knit them that often, can tend to be a bit sloppy. So I've been a bit conscious of pulling the first couple of stitches a bit tighter. So I will show you where I'm at. I finished one side of the cables and I'm just binding off the second side. So got our Clue 1 braids, and we've got Clue 2. That cable section is bound off, and this cable section I am nearly bound off. So I'll get this finished today. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow Clue 3 will come out. For me it doesn't come out until early evening, so I'll be finishing this Clue a day ahead. And that was something I wanted to talk about as well. Some people are a bit concerned they're not keeping up, and like Stephen said, it's all about, embrace your pace. It's not a competition. But I was thinking about that, and I think what the mystery knit along for me, I look at it as a challenge, and I challenge myself to finish each clue before the next one comes out. That doesn't always happen, especially with the last clue, because there's no next clue coming out. But that's my challenge. That's the pace I'm setting for myself, and it just depends on how much knitting is in each clue and how I'm feeling that week, whether I will get through that. But so far I am keeping up. The other thing I wanted to show you is how much yarn I've got left. So my main colour, I've got that. I think these skeins are a little bit more generous. I think the yarn is on the lighter side of fingering, because I have 425 meters per 100 grams. So that's all that's left of the first skein of my main colour. And this is still attached because I'm binding off, but that's what's left of the first skein of my contrast colour. So because my yardage is more per skein than what Stephen was saying, I should have plenty. I didn't do a gauge swatch, but yeah, should have plenty. I think that's all that I wanted to chat about for this clue, and hopefully I'll be feeling a bit more energetic. And I was actually hoping to take you with me to Spotlight, which is our big box crafty store. I have to get some metallic thread for something, and I thought, I'll take you along and just show you what the yarn section's looking like in Spotlight these days. But yeah, I haven't left the house, so maybe in a day or two, or even early next week, we'll do that. Let me know how you're going with Clue 2. I know there's some people who have dropped out. Other people just didn't even bother starting. Stephen West is not their vibe. That's cool. So hopefully I'll continue these vlogs through to the end of the mystery knit along, and then hopefully on a semi-regular basis where I'll take you through what I'm knitting, if I'm doing any designing, and just whatever else is happening. Oh, I did want to show you this little book I got. I ordered on Etsy. I think that was the shop name was Pompadour 24. It's in Japan, and I initially got it for the tapestry weaving that I've been doing, but I'm also thinking it could be a good little book for motifs for colourwork knitting. So it's only a little paperback book. It's called Simply Designed Accessories Killam, and then it's Koyun, Koyun. So I just googled that and it came up with this Etsy shop. It is in Japanese. But the beauty of these sort of designs is they are basically charted. So I'll give you a flick through. So they're just little geometric shapes. The instructions for them are in Japanese, but what I like with these is it has the chart, but then with tapestry weaving, the idea is that it's like laying bricks. You have to weave where you've got some weaving underneath. You can't just weave onto nothing. So for designs that you might look at and you're sort of like, oh, I'm not sure what order to weave that in, it will give you the instructions down here and it will number what order to do them in, which I think is really helpful. But also I think these designs, like I said, I think these could be used for colourwork jumpers. So I might have a look at doing something with those, doing some colourwork. There's also a little bit of knotting instruction in the back, and the pictures of if you've ever looked at a Japanese knitting pattern, it's all in Japanese, but a lot of it is charted and they have pictures. So I don't think I've ever done one, but apparently they're not too difficult to follow. And I think the same thing would be here. There's lots of really great pictures to illustrate what to do. So there's some knotting. There's also some finishing techniques and some instructions for making a couple of little things. Like I think there's little bags and bookmarks and various bits and pieces in there. So yeah, it's the book there. Okay, happy knitting, happy MKALing, and thank you to everyone that's liked my previous videos and left comments. It's really great chatting to you. If you're one of the people that are leaving the comment, if you've got a YouTube channel, or if you want to leave your Instagram handle so I can go and check out what you're knitting, and that would be great. Okay, I'll chat to you later. Bye.